All right. Hello, hello. We're back. House in Fata Morgana tonight. Happy Easter for anyone who's celebrating. I don't, so that's why we're on stream tonight. Um, let's just jump right in. We had a lot of really heavy stuff last time, so um, applicable trigger warnings. We're gonna be talking about some stuff that you may not be comfortable with, and I don't know exactly what's happening or what's going to happen because I've not played this before. So keep yourself safe. All right, so recap. Giselle wants to eat with Michael, but he's avoiding her. She argued in the cellar with him about ghosts and rotten parsnips before he sent her to fetch a delivery of groceries and in his monthly book. Michael alluded to the curse being one of many possible explanations for his isolation and got uncharacteristically intense when keeping the landscape painting in the box away from her. He figured the painting was a passive aggressive message from his family. Giselle held back and falsely claimed that she wants to live in the house, but Michael can tell she wasn't fully informed of why she's here. He tried to pull rank as a master and demanded answers about her crimes against the Bullinger estate, so they had a standoff about secrets they keep. He started freaking out about her seeing him as a monster, but backed off when he almost hurt her. He decided not to send her away himself and instead ask his mom about Giselle. At the chapel, Giselle had a crisis of faith and flashed back to her past as the daughter of a poor merchant family that can't afford a dowry for her sister. When the Bullingers hired her, she hoped she'd earn enough money, and Michael found this out from her prayer. He went outside for the first time in years to visit the cabin of his terrified watchman and ask about Giselle, and he's apparently known for having made a deal with the devil. Apparently, Giselle went behind her family's back to take this job and get her sister married, and life in the house is so miserable that she wants to change something about their relationship to fix it. She entered his room and found a damaged painting of Abby. He took offense to Giselle sneaking and calling her angelic and stabbed her for supposedly collaborating with the enemies of his family, but mostly because she slept with his dad. Which we found out after she ran back from the house and flashed back to Anthony Bollinger blackmailing her into sex. After suffering his physical abuse and wanting to die, they were caught by the missus and she got branded a witch, so she was banished to the house. Yeah, so where we ended last time was she was out, like lying out on the ground outside the mansion hoping that she would die. So, again, we got into some really heavy stuff. And as always, chat, happy late birthday. Perfect darkness embraces us once more. I can see nothing, not even the woman beside me, but I shall not let go of her hand. I do not want her to slip away from me. I do not want to lose her. Eh, Okay, where are we now? Hey, wait, stay with me. Are you all right? Uh, oh, thank goodness. You're awake. How's your head? Can you see me? What? You had me scared silly there. I thought I might have lost you for good. I'm really glad you're alive. Where am I? This looks kind of like an old school building. Like, where are we? And who is this man? What was I doing? You feeling up for any food? I can whip up some porridge for you right quick. Uh, I was in the forest. It was raining. Before that, I was at the mansion. I feel sick. Like there's something still in my stomach. N- no, thank you. I don't want anything. You really should have something. You need to keep up your energy. Unless you want to conk out again in an hour. Sounds good to me. I'd rather never wake up at all. You're not in the highest of spirits either, it seems. All the more reason to get something warm into you. Please, have something. I've got some milk on the fire. I bet you can handle a cup of that. You start losing all hope once the cold gets that deep in you, reaches down to your core. Take me at my word, please. Just one sip. You'll feel like a whole new gal. A heart-wrenchingly pleasant aroma wafted up with the steam from within the wooden cup. Succumbing to the sweet smell, I lifted the cup to my lips for just one sip, and the warmth that spread through me brought tears to my eyes. Perhaps there really was kindness in the world. A ripple spread across the surface of the milk. I heard a gentle sigh come from the man beside me, after which he said with a smile, "You should take it easy for the day." I had lost the willpower to think about anything. I didn't care what had happened to me, or why I was here, who he was, or even where this was. I spent the whole day in bed, just watching the sun slowly slide across the wooden floor. It felt like I was somewhere far, far away. At times, I felt like a lost child, and at times like a sickly old woman on her deathbed. Watching the sun travel gave me a renewed awareness of the passage of time, and the fact that each moment that went by was another moment I was alive. I wonder how long it's been since she's actually taken a break. Like if you think about her family was poor after her dad died, and then so I'm sure that there was a lot of work that had to be done there. And then she goes to work for the Bullingers, and well, we know what happened there. We won't rehash that. But then she goes to the mansion with Michael, and obviously she's the only one there. So I wonder if this is the first sort of holiday she's had in ages. There we go. Here, have some hot porridge. My daughter took this from some bears whose houses she's walked into. I realized then that it had been a while since I had gotten more than a brief glimpse at any sunlight. It almost surprised me how colorful the world seemed beneath the sun's light, something I didn't get much of in the dark mansion. Only after losing something do you realize how much you need it. Warm milk, the light shining through the window, and a bed that smelled like springtime. With those three things, my heart slowly began to defrost, and I started to regain the willpower to stand on my own 2 feet. Um, thank you for everything. You sure you're in any shape to be on your feet? Yes, I'm fine. I'm not hurt. You looked pretty beat up to me, but you look a lot better now. And you're talking a lot more clearly than before. You've been very generous, despite having never met me before, and for that you have my deepest gratitude. Without your help, I would no longer be in this world. I don't deserve your thanks. You are alive now because God's guidance made it so. God. I came across you early this morning as I was heading into the forest to hunt. Imagine my surprise seeing a young lady like you on the ground in my path. Oh, Michael just left her out there? What the hell, man? What were you doing in the forest? You don't have to tell me if you'd rather not. Everyone's got their own share of personal problems. You're not going to demand I talk. I have no reason to force you to do anything. You looked like you'd been to hell and back. Well, I could tell just looking at you. Now then, do you have somewhere you can go? Somewhere to go. Of course I don't. I can't go back to the capital or the mansion. If not, then why don't you stay here? Here? Sure. It's a small village. We're self-sufficient and we all help each other out. No tax-hungry lords know we built the place up either, so we keep everything we make. We're pretty remote as a result, and the harvest, well, isn't fantastic, but I'm sure you'll find it comfortable here. The rest of the villagers will be glad to have you. What do you say? I. Sorry, Mom. What I'm about to do might make the rest of the family's lives more difficult, but I don't want to have to feel any more pain. If I really wouldn't be inconveniencing you, if it's really okay, then yes, I would like to stay here. That's great to hear. I was loath to send you back out there in your current condition. I haven't introduced myself yet, have I? The name's Amadei, just one lowly villager of many. I I'm Giselle. Giselle. That's a beautiful name. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a vacant house. Clean it up and you can call it home. I, I couldn't possibly ask for that. I doubt others would like it if I just took a house for myself. That shouldn't be an issue. I'm the village's representative, more or less. Representative of what? Like, what do you mean village representative? Exactly, this does sound too good to be true. So, is this place cursed? Do they sacrifice a beautiful maiden like every 3 months to the witch? Like, what's going on here? Representative? Like the chief? Only a name, though. As I mentioned, we're not on any lord's map, so I don't have much representing to do. The only reason I ended up in charge is because I'm a bit more educated than anyone else. It was a long time ago, but I understudied with a priest. Because of that, I'm familiar with the Bible's teachings. So, rather than a chief, the people of the village look at me more like a priest. Wouldn't be much fun if the church found out about that. They're liable to think I'm acting unordained. Then you believe in God? That's quite the question. Of course, God exists. He's always watching over us. That's why you survived. Because he protected you. I understand that your faith can waver when you're going through times of tribulation, but those are the times when it's most important you keep sight of who you are. Right. Now, you get some rest. Tomorrow, I'll show you around the village. Thank you. Um, I truly mean it. I really, sincerely appreciate everything. Don't mention it, Giselle. This is your village now, too, so you don't need to act like a stranger anymore. Okay. Ha- I'm really curious about this village that no one supposedly knows about, and there's got to be a catch. What is gonna happen? So he's Amade. He seems like a nice man. Maybe here I can live in peace. It'll be all right, I'm sure. Yeah, I wasn't silly enough to believe my life would be perfect, but I had found a tiny fragment of my lost hope. While I had once been ready to give up on absolutely everything, I was starting to feel like I might be able to smile again, eventually. Like I might be able to get back on my feet. And in order to do that, I had to cast aside my past once more. Forget everything that had happened at the Bullinger estate and everything that had happened at that mansion. Forget about Michael. There was one niggling curiosity, though, that I couldn't shake. Something he had said before I left. My very existence threatens to tear down that house. The cursed youngest son of the Bullinger family. Michael, who made a pact with the devil, who is supposed to be dead but is very much alive. What had he meant by that? Why would people think he was dead? No, I don't care about Michael one bit. Forget it. Forget everything. Yet something tells me she's not going to forget, though, and that's going to be the whole problem. The house was, as it had always been, wrapped in a thick silence. Giselle's shadow, which had been lurking in the halls for about a month, was nowhere to be found. She hadn't come back since running off that day. My secret was still safe. Her efforts had, in the end, all been for naught. Back to the way things were. But despite my mind telling me that it was for the best, I felt a kind of guilt seething in the back of my chest. and any attempts to figure out why only made me feel worse. But the look on her face then. Please, he, hear me out. I didn't know anything about you. I I wasn't sniffing around or trying to bring you harm in any way. Was that really just her putting on an act because I revealed her scheming? She was screaming, though, and she looked genuinely terrified when she knocked my hand away. I'm not falling for anything. I just. I feel like I know that frenzied panic. Something doesn't add up. Be quiet. Silence, please. My head was pounding beyond belief. I couldn't stand anything. This world, the creature I was, the witches whispering. The archangel looking down upon me seemed to be cackling from somewhere far out of reach. So, whatever it was worth, to escape from his gaze, I once again drew the drapes over the stained glass window. Oh, are we going to find out what's actually up with him now? Whoa, it's someone new. Nope, I think we're just following Giselle. Hey, where are you from? You gonna be here long? Are you? We hardly ever get visitors here, so they're downright awestruck by you. What happened after Amade let her into the village? The only thing you missed was Michael is feeling like shit about what he did. And he's now wondering whether everything about her was a scheme or whether he misread the situation like he did. So, it's all you missed. You're good. You'll be getting a lot of attention for a little bit. Please don't let it get to you. Uh, no, that's just fine. I'll do my best to get along with everyone. You've got a spark in you that wasn't there yesterday. Anything in particular that cheered you up? In particular? Once I decided I was going to stay here, I just sort of started feeling better about things. And I figured I couldn't stay gloomy forever. I see. Glad to hear it. And it's all thanks to you, Amade. Keep thanking me like that, my cheeks might get stuck red. In any event, I said I'd show you around yesterday, so how about we do that? Lead the way. That said, we're a modest little village of about 100. Everyone knows everyone. For that size, it looks pretty big to me. Amade taking the lead, we walked through the village, passing by crop fields and milk cows, presumably shared amongst the villagers. Houses were scattered across an area that seemed far too large for only 100 people. Actually, getting a better look at them, the buildings were dilapidated, looking more like ruins than residences. Once upon a time, this was a city rather than a village. When your ancestors lived here? Oh, no. We were drifters fortunate enough to come across some decent looking land, so we stuck around. How do you know what it was like before then? There were a few stone tablets left behind, and based on what we were able to extract from their texts, this area used to be a large city with a booming economy rivaling that of the capital. There weren't hundreds, but thousands of people bustling about. Merchants from afar came in droves. It was much like how the capital is now. Actually, this area was more open to foreigners. People of all different races, speaking as many different languages. It was evidently quite the sight and sound. I had no idea there was a city here. That's what happens when a place is wiped from history. I couldn't tell you how reliable the tablets are, but if you take them at their word, this city lost everything in just a single week. What? People, crops, livestock, all dead. Maybe it was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague. I can't say for sure. This is what the tablet said, though. We have been cursed by the witch. Cursed by the witch. Look over there. You see that river? There used to be a magnificent bridge crossing it, but there's hardly anything left of it. If you continue along the path beyond the fallen bridge, there's a forest. That's where I found you. The deeper parts of the forest are so dense you can't see anything but tree trunks and leaves. It's an eerie place wrapped in a cloud of darkness. If you make it through that, there's a mansion, which is said to be cursed. The witch who supposedly destroyed this city lives in the house deep in the forest. She's been there for years and years and years, and she casts her curse on anyone who goes near it. The city was so large that the mansion was actually in its borders. My guess is the bridge was built to mark the road leading to it. Now, as you can see, the bridge is gone and the house is still standing or practically in ruins, but the mansion alone looks just as it did back then. The witch living in the mansion goes by the name Morgana. According to the records, someone by that same name was executed in this area for witchcraft, and even in death, she continues to bear her grudge against mankind. Exactly, they just found some scriptures. Who knows how much of it is true, though? Truth or fiction? The story has taken root in this region. The story's history may be lost, but the legend of the witch continues to be told. People have a tendency to keep stories alive that scare them. Sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. I did, like, every time we go into stuff like this, I always think about how, like, it exists because people believe it exists. You know, like, is there really a curse? It's a possibility, or it's a possibility that everyone's just chalking it up to a curse, right? I don't know. I don't know how this works. No, I'm fine. You're best staying away from the mansion and the forest at any rate. There's no saying what might happen if curiosity gets the better of you. Better safe than sorry, if you ask me. Aside from the mansion, this is as peaceful a village as you'll find. I don't know where you came from, but I'm glad you didn't end up wandering there. Yeah, about that. I know all about the mansion and who lives there. I was there, after all, with Michael for a full month. Exactly, it's quantum physics magic. Everyone believes it, so it becomes real. But I don't remember any cursed witch. Just a man with a bone-chilling glare. Maybe the rumors about a witch living there were spread by him. Or perhaps even his family. I could see them doing that. But none of that matters to me anymore. I'm never going anywhere near that house again. The witch's curse, Michael, they're nothing to me. With nowhere else to go, I ended up in this small village. There was no denying that there was very little to speak of here, but I found peace in that nothingness. I couldn't have been more blessed that such a kind man had found me and welcomed me into his village. The village ran entirely on its own crops and livestock. They had no currency, merely bartered amongst themselves. Coming from a merchant's family, everything felt so new. I had never plowed a large plot of land, milked a cow, or used a loom before. At first, I wasn't sure what to think, being such a departure from my lifestyle at the capital. But over time, I grew more comfortable with my new life, and the people of the village started thinking of me as one of them. Exactly. Haruaki sneezes and a hurricane bruise from the direct sea. Like, we have we were on a roll there for a little bit, weren't we? Like, fiction becoming fact, and yeah. So if this one continues on with that, it's like we need to break the curse next time, I guess. Come on, Giselle, come play with us. We're playing hide and seek today. Can't, sorry. I'm spinning yarn. You can do that later. Come on, play with us. Stop that. Don't pull on my skirt. Oh, all right, you win. When I'm done with this, I'll join you. And no ditching. We'll be down at the square, okay? Got it. See you there. The kids have taken quite a liking to you. Amade, y- you think so? They've been incredibly lively since you arrived. Children are more sensitive than adults. Sensitive? They're very perceptive of how others are feeling. If you begrudgingly play along, they'll pick up on that quickly. You like children, and that's a wonderful thing. There's not a good woman in the world who dislikes children. Well, you know what? I'm not good. So, um, I was just thinking that it feels like Pauline and Javi again. Like Giselle does have quite a few similarities with Pauline if you kind of think about it with the whole like merchant family background and all of that. So, why, thank you. I don't think it's so much that I like them as I'm kind of like a big kid myself. I genuinely enjoy hide and seek, but that's not going to earn me any points. I like kids too. Watching them, it gives me faith that this world has a bright future. A bright future. I'd never looked at them that way. They seem to like you quite a bit too, Amade. Thanks. Though I'd rather give my affection to my own kids. Oh, you have children? Oh, heavens no. I thought that was obvious enough. I'm talking about the future. I see. I thought he was going to be like, no, I'm talking about my cats. Here they are. But I guess this is like what, 10.99. But knowing you, Amade, I'm sure you'll find someone right for you and have kids of your own in no time. It's not that easy, sadly. Even in such a small village, there are no ladies who would take interest in me. You don't give yourself enough credit. I'm fully confident you'll find someone soon enough. Do you really think so? Absolutely. Okay, we are going straight into it. I thought I was picking up the signals, but you know what? Why not? This guy's nice enough. Then perhaps you could be that person. What? Uh, pardon? I won't pressure you into it, of course. But I think it would be marvelous to have you in my life in a bigger way. But but I'm it's a little soon for me to think about settling down like that. It is pretty sudden, I admit. Take all the time you need to consider it. Uh, all right. Um, I have to go play with the kids now. Have fun. I wonder if he really meant it. Amade is a nice fellow, and I'm sure living here would be wonderful. But I can't help feeling something isn't right here. Why am I thinking about him now, of all times? That man has no redeemable qualities, not one. As it turned out, Amade was serious about his proposition, and he brought it up every time we ran into each other. I thought he wasn't going to put any pressure. Like, unable to give him an answer, I found myself constantly apologizing to him. Soon, winter started giving way to spring. On a day when the air still had a brisk winter bite and budding seedlings battled to break through the earth, the seams holding the village together began to come loose. Hmm? That day, the village men were gathered in the square talking. They all had stern looks on their faces. It was clear that something had happened. I obviously couldn't stick my head in, so I waited until they were done and caught Amade. While it was rather awkward, I was still more comfortable asking him for information than anyone else. Actually, with a dejected look on his face, he started explaining. A lord found out about this village. What? And he said he's going to place this land under his rule, meaning he'll start collecting taxes. How can he do that? In addition, he's also demanding we pay 5 years worth of back taxes for our unauthorized use of the land. What? That's ridiculous. Yes, it most certainly is. We obviously don't have the means to pay 5 years of taxes. There's no reason for him to take over this village at all. We're completely isolated from the surrounding area, after all. But if we resist, he could send soldiers. It doesn't matter how absurd his claim to the village is. We have no choice but to comply. Exactly, we have squatters' rights. We should overthrow him. That's terrible. What are we going to do then? We're going to do as the Lord demands. The 5 years' taxes will have to be paid in installments. Some of the men suggested we abandon the land and find somewhere else, but it would take time to cultivate the land and plant new crops. It's no trivial task. We'll just have to make do with these changes. We'll use more of the land to grow and try to be more efficient. Will you help in the fields? Uh, of course. This village is my home now, too. Thank you, Giselle. It will be difficult, but if we all pitch in, I'm sure we can get through this. I thought the same thing. If we all work together, we could make it through this rough patch. But the collection of taxes brought more than just a burden for everyone to share. It brought emotional strain and conflict to the village, too. Your family has more hands to work the fields. I have a sickly child. You expect him to work any harder than he is? I know you're hiding grain in your cellar. You have more than us. Let us keep a little grain. You have more. No, you have more. You both have more than us. When their comfortable lives fell under attack, the villagers' top priority became their own property. The cooperation was only temporary, and before long, everyone became a threat. The negative energy only built on itself, its growth accelerating like a boulder rolling down a hill. And it wasn't long before their sights fell on me, the outsider. Lord Jacopo has brought capitalism to the land. What I'm really concerned about is not Lord Jacopo, it's Lord Antonin or whatever his name is. Our former employer. Come on, get moving. Ow! Stop that! Why are you doing this? I'll stop once you've told us everything. Told you every what? One morning, a man dragged me from my house and took me to the square. There, the entire rest of the village was gathered, all eyes on me. What? What's this about? Oh, don't play stupid. We all know it was you. What was me? The thief. Amade? Amade? From the crowd appeared someone I knew quite well, the ever-affable village representative, the man who had saved my life. But in his eyes now, I thought you were better than that. Was contempt, anger, scorn, so many different shades of negativity. I recognized what I saw in his glare immediately, as someone who had been subjected to those looks before. But why? For what reason was he looking at me like that? I couldn't make sense of what was happening, so I just stood there stupefied. There's been a rise in reports of people having things stolen lately. This village is too small to attract bandits, though. Since the Lord now demands we pay him taxes, even the smallest item lost can have a dramatic impact on a family's living conditions. What you've done is no joke. Well, oh, wait just a second. I haven't stolen anything. Why do you think I... You have been seen in the act. What? So long as there is testimony against you, your guilt is assured. Well, who says they saw me? I swear I didn't do anything. They're obviously lying. You're the one who's lying. You've been playing us for fools this whole time. Everything was fine until you showed up. We managed not to get found until you showed up. No, that's not my fault. Giselle, apologize to the village and return what you've taken. Amade, don't you believe me? There were multiple witnesses. Several different people saw you stealing. I've known these people long enough to be family, and I trust them like family too. They're not liars. But no, they're framing me. I didn't steal anything, I swear. Framing you? Now you want to put this on us, woman? Unbelievable. Have you forgotten we welcomed you into our village? Uh, Amade, please believe me. You, of all people, should believe me. You've been avoiding me of late, haven't you? There we go. 9-year-old Edgeworth steps in and tells them she didn't steal his lunch money. What? Because you had something to hide, correct? No, What other reason could you have to avoid me? But why? How can he say these things? Why won't he believe me? Now return the things you've stolen. I can't. I never stole anything. How am I supposed to return something I don't have? I see. So you've already moved the stolen goods. She said she doesn't have them anymore, folks. How should we deal with this? Rough her up till she talks. Yeah, she's not getting off that easy. Give us back our property. Huh? But why is this happening to me? The harsh new rulership has driven these people mad. I need to get away from this village quick. Restrain her. No, get your hands off me. Have you forgotten everything we've done for you? All that matters is that you don't have to suffer, is that it? I didn't do anything. Take her to my house. We'll make her tell us everything. No, stop. You've all gone mad. Please come to your senses. Yeah, maybe she's avoiding you because you keep asking for an answer to your proposal. I mean, to be fair, we don't know how often they see each other. So if it's like 3 times in 3 months, that's like almost acceptable if they don't see each other very often. But if they see each other every day, that's a lot. So, with men on all 4 sides of me, I was dragged into Amade's house. He sat coolly in a chair, and they shoved me to my knees before him. I'll ask you this one more time, Giselle. Where did you put the things you stole? And I'll keep giving you the same answer. I didn't take anything from anyone. Please believe me. Do you swear, with God as your witness? I do. I swear with all my heart. You don't actually believe her, do you, Amade? She not only sold us out to a lord, she's now threatening to make our lives downright impossible. Again, that's just a coincidence. Listen to me, Amade. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the woman hath committed 3 sins. She has lied, she has stolen, and she has betrayed her fellow man. Why are you doing this, Amade? You were such a good man. I am deeply disappointed in you, Giselle. As much as I don't want to do this, I have to get the truth from you. Amade. Of course. Why didn't I see it? I'm still just an outsider to them. Why would he believe a stranger's word over the word of the village? His family. The water. What? The man set a wooden well bucket on the floor in front of me. In it wasn't clean water from the well, though, but grimy, murky wastewater. Oh, don't do this. I reflexively turned my head from the stench, but a man behind me grabbed me right by the hair. And before I had a chance to realize what was happening, the world, around me went brown. Oh, poor girl. Keep your mouth shut. I struggled with all my might to break free, but my arms were tied behind my back, and I didn't have the strength to overpower the man holding my head down. Reflexively gasping for air, a stream of filthy water poured into my mouth. Oh, honey, that's how you get diseases. Pull her out. We get nothing if she dies. Put her back in. And keep at it until she decides she's ready to talk. What? Okay, I'm not going to continue to make gasping noises, but how unsightly. This feels like retaliation, is all I have to say. And to think I ever considered marrying this woman. Yeah, exactly. We're being toilet waterboarded. We can stop whenever you want, Giselle. You just have to tell us the truth. Please? Hit. Stop! I was given no time to rest. My head shoved into the bucket and then pulled out just long enough for me to steal a breath before going back in. Over and over again. Not a person in that room objected to the abuse I was receiving. I had prayed for a good harvest with these people. They had taught me how to use a loom, something I had never touched before. We had laughed together, lived together. They were normal people. Perfectly ordinary, kind, helpful, friendly people. I don't think so anymore. Not at all cruel or inhumane. But now they burned with a frenzy that overshadowed all my memories of them. And every gargle, gasp, and grunt they got from me fueled that fire. Dozens of eyes laced with madness stared down upon me, rejoicing at my suffering. My consciousness was slipping away from me. I thought I could hear laughing and chattering, but it all passed through my ears in mere noise, nothing I could make sense of. Uh, stay with, uh, stay with me. Uh, a day. Oh, thank goodness you're awake. Wait, what was I just doing? Oh, right. I was in the forest, on the verge of death. Then Abede found me, and we almost lost valuable manpower there. We were just discussing what to do about you, Giselle, and we decided to make you village property. What the fuck, man? Girl, you need to go. Look, the mansion wasn't good for you either, but this is worse. It is scary how quickly normal people can become cruel monsters when they're scared. People will do anything when they're scared, and that is one of the worst things about humanity. No, he didn't save me. If you agree to work for us, we'll put this whole nasty mess behind us. You may be worthless in the fields and terrible with a loom, but there's plenty you can help with. What are you going to make me do? You like to get your hands dirty. And considering I found you half dead in the forest, I doubt the rest of you is any cleaner. Oh my god, man. Uh, Matei. It seems we've come to an agreement. I'll keep watch over her starting today, to make sure she stays in line and doesn't steal anything else. Dirty. Stays in line. The way they're looking at me. They didn't have to spell it out. No. Anything but that. Please have mercy. If you're begging for mercy, that means you've done something wrong. You know what, Giselle? Can we give her a gun in 1099? I know we can't logically, but also, girl needs a gun. That's all I'll say. Let's see. There is one way, Giselle. What? Give back what you stole, naturally. But if you're going to insist that's not possible, then bring us something of equal value. I. I. And if you can't do that, then your life belongs to the village. Take that and run. The men were cackling. They knew I couldn't do it, and they were enjoying watching me squirm. Take your pick, Giselle. Something of equal value. If I can get that, then you'll set me free? In that moment, A little bit of darkness bubbled up in my heart. Something maleficent whispered in my ear. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. There's a village not far from here. Trade it for food, then make your way to a larger town. I think I know where you can get something worth some money. The mansion in the forest has some fairly valuable furniture in it. Oh God, when did I become? You can steal some of that to sell for good money. Such a despicable woman. You mean the cursed mansion? You expect us to go there? Are you out of your mind? Anyone who goes near that house is killed by the witch's curse. There is no witch living there. There is no curse. Giselle, what do you know about that mansion? I I lived there for a while. Well, for a month. You what? The son of a noble lives there. He's human, and he's alone. A noble? What's a noble boy doing this far from the city? I presume he was banished there. I was sent to the mansion from the capital to act as his servant. There was plenty of value in the house, shelves lined with books. There should be more than enough to pay the lord 5 years' worth of taxes. Is what you're saying true? I would not lie. As bewilderment spread through Amade's house, I was unable to look at anything but the floor. I couldn't stop trembling. To protect myself, I had sold out Michael. You swear there's just a single man living in that house. Interesting. When chat looked up the name Amade, what came up was a play about a guy and his wife trying to dispose of a corpse. Well, right now this guy is trying to dispose of his potential would have maybe been wife if he had been cool for 5 minutes. So, yes, it's only him. All right. If it turns out you're lying, you'll pay. Okay, everyone, you heard her. Tell all the young men to get ready. We're going up to the mansion in the forest. And just to be safe, make sure everyone brings something they can use as a weapon. And you, Giselle? You're coming with us. You'll be leading the way. Listen to me. Don't think about trying to run. Right. On the cusp of springtime, I found myself trekking through the dreary forest I had thought I would never set foot in again. How had I ended up here? How come I could never manage to avoid getting myself in these situations? And who would have guessed that my reason for returning to the mansion would be to loot it? There we go. The villagers get there and are immediately met with living furniture fighting back. Cogsworth says it's time for a fucking war. I prayed for God to show even a little mercy and ensure Michael wasn't around. Though I knew the chances of that happening were almost zero. After several hours of walking, we broke through the thick woods and the mansion appeared before us. Like its surroundings, the house was bleak and uninviting. Even the midday sun seemed disinterested in shining its light upon it. Despite, on the surface, there not being much of anything impressive about it, the entire mob stood speechless before its overwhelming presence. But the men had weapons, and they were fueled by avarice, which gave them the courage to approach this place they wouldn't normally otherwise. Door won't open. I think it's barred from the inside. It would seem someone really does live in this cursed place. I'm honestly surprised. Even more so that it's not a witch, but just a noble. The door's old. We could break it down. Yeah, let's bust it down. Hold on, there's no need to be barbaric. Did you even consider knocking on the door like normal people? You sound like a band of thieves. That's something else coming from you. Who do you think proposed this plan, Giselle? You. All right, men. You ready for lives of luxury? Break down that door. Yeah, door's locked. Let's go home. Stop it. It's the damn nobles who make our life so hard. They deserve to be robbed. Break it. Break down the door. Please stop this. Break it down. Break it down. Break it down. Stop. Okay, I wasn't feeling good about Michael either. But now I kind of feel really bad about how this went. And I still think this all could have been avoided if we'd just given Giselle a gun. Um, exactly. Amade was the one who told everyone to bring weapons. Why are we not just doing this to the Lord taxing us? Like, this dude came and decided that, like, hi, all this land is mine, and I'm now going to charge you for it. What? And now we're breaking down Michael's house. Make it make sense. All their repressed emotions detonated. They battered the door again and again and again, and in a few minutes' time it was on the verge of collapse. They shouted and cheered and hooted like madmen as my peaceful life came crumbling down around me. Growing lightheaded from the anxiety, I squeezed my eyes shut, unable to bear it any longer, when the deep groan of a door opening echoed through the forest. Yeah, singing killed the beast. It would seem you are not aware whose house you're trying to break into. The world went silent like time had come to a stop. No one could manage to say a word, and only stare at the man who had appeared from within the mansion. Surely you know what this place is called. Beneath the dazzling midday sun, he had bone-chillingly alabaster skin and long, nearly translucently pale hair. So surely you came prepared for whatever you would find. And his eyes were like two blazing infernos staring out across the mob. A, a demon. Someone muttered, probably unconsciously. He did indeed look like something not of this world. It's a demon! The rumors about this place were true! A cursed demon lives there! Demon? Him? Michael? No, he's not cursed. Indeed, I am cursed. The witch's curse is real. I even inherited it in its entirety, as well as her purpose. A witch, a demon, a spirit impure. Call me whatever you wish, for the truth shall not change. I carry within me an eternal curse. Behold my flesh pale as the moon. No red blood flows beneath this skin as it does yours. Is Michael's whole thing that he's just albino? Like, is that the curse? Please tell me there's something more than that. Behold my hair, utterly devoid of color. Also, I'm getting really distracted by her boobs. They're just out there. Offered up to the devil as part of our pact. Behold these crimson eyes, a symbol of the lifeblood spilt at my hands. I shall bring calamity upon you as the witch of legend. Never-ending famine, plague, catastrophe, suffering for generations. Until the moment of your deaths, you shall regret ever coming near this place. It really does look like it's lower on her chest than it should. There's a lot of things really wrong with it. Like, I try not to say that it's like the artist has never seen a woman before, but there's some things about that anatomy that do make me wonder if the artist has ever actually seen a woman before. Like, your boobs don't just start, like, here. In case anyone was interested. No! Have mercy! It was that woman. She brought us here. Tempted us with promises of wealth. Deceived us. Told us to pillage this house. We're innocent. Amade, please have mercy on us. Give her to me, then, as an offering. Absolutely, she's yours. Torture her however you please. Exactly, it is like they're hanging off a flat chest. Like, which is not how anatomy works. Just in anime. I have one more condition. You never come near this house again. If you so much as consider it, you will all die by my curse. I swear it. We won't return. Run! Get out of here! Without so much as a glance back, the villagers scrambled into the forest. And Amade, the man who had rescued me that night, went right along with them. Is there kindness in the world? I wasn't sure what to think anymore. Don't think I'm helping you. His voice rained down on me, but I couldn't lift my head. There was such a gaping void in my chest. I had no idea what questions I should be asking anymore. What I should be angry about. What I should be sad about. Not even the first clue. Look at me. Look at me, Giselle. Tell me, is it true you returned to the mansion to plunder it? That you brought those men here to rob me of my valuables? Answer me, Giselle. Yes, it's true. I persuaded them to steal from you. Are you really so desperate for money that you resort to looting? Just how low will you go? Not only did you seduce my father, not only did you go digging around for information about me, you brought a mob to this house? And they were armed, too. Were you trying to get me killed? Answer me, Giselle. Not even going to defend yourself? Well, last time she did it didn't really work out, so I can't really blame her, man. Your scheme failed, so you're retreating into silence? For God's sake, you sicken me. I'm done with you. I'm done. Leave this place and never show your face here again. As he shouted at me and I stared into his fiery red eyes, a somewhat inappropriate thought crossed my mind. Huh, so he can get emotional like anyone else. And my heart, stripped raw and cast out to sea, finally sunk deep enough to be crushed by the pressure. Me. What? If you want me gone, then kill me. Huh? You can do that, can't you? You can use your curse to kill me, can't you? Then do it, right here. Use your power, take my life. And if you don't want to do that, stab me with your knife. Kill me. Kill me. Kill me. What? I'm done. I can't take it. I'm through with this whole world. No one will believe anything I say. No one cares one bit about how I feel. They just walk all over me, laughing. Why? Tell me why. Why is this happening to me? I never stole anything. What are you talking about? I tried my best to look happy. I thought everything would work out if I could keep smiling. I believed that would make things better. But nothing ever got better. What did I ever do? Tell me, what did I ever do? What did... But you... All I ever did was believe. Tried my best to survive, to always wear a smile. But if everything's going to be my fault, and I have to deal with that for the rest of my life, then I'm done. I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to live in this world anymore. Calm down, please. I don't follow what you're saying. This is absolutely inappropriate to laugh about at this moment, but him realizing he is so out of his depth is so, like, his depth is so funny to me. I'm so sorry. That's what I'm laughing about. My understanding is that you desired money, so you brought that mob, and before that, you used my father. You wouldn't believe me even if I told you the real story. You'll take your family's word over mine. You don't have any idea what I went through there. How hard it was to just keep myself together. I never wanted riches. All I wanted was a decent enough wage to allow my family to live comfortably. That's all I wanted. But that man, he used my family against me. He he made me forced me to he 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 raped me. What? Again and again, no matter how much I resisted, he wouldn't stop. Again and again. He threatened me, beat me, cut me with a knife over and over and over again. What? My father raped you? No one would believe me. I did nothing wrong. You don't believe me either, do you? So I'm done. I don't want this body anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. I can't take it anymore. Help me, please. Set me free. Kill me. Kill me already. Use your curse and kill me. Kill me. I'm not going to scream because it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm like 2 blocks away from a fire department. I will have the cops called on me. Um, g- g- give, give me a moment. I need time to process this. You can do it, can't you? Then kill me already. Kill me. Kill me now. Uh, kill me. Damn it. G- give me time so we can talk this through. I want to hear everything from the beginning. Uh, inside. Let's go inside and talk. The light hurts my eyes. That was a door I might have best let stay shut. Not knowing the truth would have been so much easier. I wouldn't have been made to shudder in disgust, hearing about the crimes of my own family. But if I hadn't opened that door, I would have lost everything. That day, after far too long, I finally let myself see the person in Giselle. Yeah, Michael just sitting there going, wait, did I fuck up? Giselle didn't recover for some time after I managed to get her inside. Unsure what else I could do for her, I had her sit before the fireplace and waited in silence as she sobbed. I had no idea what someone was supposed to say to someone who was crying. Was it normal to offer them a warm drink? I didn't know. I did know I needed to reflect on the things she had said outside and try to make sense of them. And from there, calm myself down and prepare for the conversation we were to have, as unpleasant as I was sure it would be. A considerable amount of time later, Giselle's sobbing drew to a stop, an oppressive silence stepping in to take its place. For far longer than was comfortable, the only sound we heard was the gentle crackling of the fire. I had to say something. I knew that, but what I didn't know was how to begin. I knew nothing about having an honest, face-to-face discussion with someone about the things we were thinking and feeling. But that didn't change anything. I had to do it, even if down that road lay truths I would be happier not seeing. Giselle, could you please tell me what you did at... No, what was done to you at my family's home? how you ended up coming to this mansion, and what happened after you left. I would like to know everything, from start to finish.
Will you believe what I tell you? You never so much as gave me the time of day before,
I.
and I very much doubt you will find what I have to say agreeable. Will you still believe me, even then? Believe my word, a stranger's word, over your family or the people of the village?
I cannot yet say. I must hear what you have to say to make that decision.
I suppose that might be better than you saying you'll believe me unconditionally. All right, I'll tell you everything. Just know that nothing I say is a lie.
Understood?
Giselle methodically recounted her tale for me. She told me of how she accepted an offer from the Bollingers to work as an abigail to earn money for her family, of how my father, Antonin, had other plans for her, of the things he did to her. She spoke dryly, simply putting words to each event, one after the other. I had already seen how she felt deep down, though. Had heard her pained screams, which were undoubtedly genuine. I didn't think she was trying to deceive me. That was the sound of old wounds being torn open, and even I could see that. Or perhaps my own experiences were what allowed me to see it. Regardless, I had realized too late. I should have seen it sooner. She described it all mechanically to remain detached from what had happened to her, to protect herself. Of that I had no doubts. Still, the things she told me were almost unbearable, and I had a difficult time accepting them. What was I supposed to do when I learned my father was a rapist? How was I supposed to react to that revelation? What was I supposed to think about the fact that his blood flowed through me? I repulsed myself. Do you want all the details?
What do you mean?
Of the wounds he gave me. I still have scars from the things he did. If you don't believe me, I can show them to you.
No, that won't be necessary.
I see. That's a relief. I don't think I could have handled that right now.
I hadn't turned down her offer for her sake. I only did so because I didn't think I could take any more. I averted my eyes to protect myself. Why had I taken my mother's word, brushing aside everything Giselle had said and done? I knew good and well my mother was no longer in her right mind. So why had I thought her letter the truth? Why had I been unable to think rationally? There were, I believe, several factors. My childhood, my past, the witch's whispers, and above all, my own character, consumed with distrust for everything. I had to face it now, to open my eyes once more, to look at everything I had pretended away until now. I was not completely blameless for her suffering, after all. Please continue, if you will.
I left off at the point where the mistress discovered what was happening, I believe. I was sent to this mansion to atone for my sins.
Sins that she didn't even commit.
It was decided I would be sent here rather than being executed, which is what the mistress wanted. At first, I assumed it would be essentially a private prison, but in the carriage on the way here, I was given a letter.
A letter? From whom?
It didn't say, but your father was the one who ordered me here, so I would guess it was him. The letter was very concise, simply explaining that there was someone already there, the Bollinger's youngest child. It didn't go into any more detail than that. But it did ask me to look after you.
Do you still have the letter?
I don't. The coachman took it back after I was finished. Thinking back on it now, that was rather strange of him to do. It was just a harmless letter.
It was anything but.
What?
Uh, it wasn't my father who wrote that letter. He believes me to be dead, so he would have sincerely thought he was banishing you to an empty house in a remote forest. The writer couldn't risk leaving anything that might suggest I was still alive.
Then who?
My brother, I believe. Either Didier or Georges, but I would guess Didier.
Your brother? Why would he?
I do not know. I can't imagine why he would write such a letter, or why he would want to tell you about me.
I don't believe he had any ill intentions, at least. I mean, he asked me to look after you. That makes it sound like he's concerned about you.
Then why doesn't he stay in contact? Why does he never respond to my letters? It's a bit late to suddenly start being concerned. No, never mind that now. Please tell me the rest.
All right.
Giselle resumed her story from the day she fled the mansion, terrified by my behavior. She seemed to be putting a bit more emotion in her tone of voice now, perhaps because she could see I was more interested in this part. There was a deep sadness on her face as she described that night in the rain, listening to the thunder when she gave up on living. And I knew I had caused it. She then told me of the time she spent in a nearby village. How at first life had seemed wonderful, but in time it had come crumbling down. Naturally, she wouldn't be here to tell me this if nothing had happened there. Once she was through with her tale, Giselle let out a long, heavy sigh, as though she had been holding it in for some time. I thought I could hear just a faint trembling in the air she exhaled.
That is everything. Do you believe me?
I...
It, if you don't, if you still think I'm deceiving you, then I won't argue with you. That's fine. If that's the case, please just kill me.
Why didn't you tell me this sooner? I know I wasn't very open to anything you said, but if that day, when I found you in my room, you had told me I was mistaken, that the sin belonged to my father, it might not have turned out like this.
The knife.
What?
You were holding a knife. I can't handle blades anymore. Ever since what happened, they scare me to death. Just the sight of one in someone's hand, and I start thinking they're going to use it on me. I can't help it. I start shaking uncontrollably, growing faint of breath. The world goes white. I can't even form words. There's nothing I can do.
Ah, now I finally see. She was grimacing in pain. The day the package arrived when you knocked my hand away.
Because I was scared. Because it reminded me of that time.
I had assumed she was simply jumpy from a guilty conscience. I felt nauseous realizing I had been pouring a constant stream of salt onto her unmendable wounds. What a damned fool I was.
Why did you get so upset at me? Why did you have to point a knife at me?
I didn't want you snooping. If you meant to sell information about me, I thought I had to do anything in my power to stop you.
I'm still not convinced it was necessary. I was unarmed. I couldn't fight back. You didn't need a knife.
Call him out, girl.
I have nothing left anymore, so I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel. You're a jerk. What you did was inexcusable. You may not have hurt me physically,
But you still hurt me. Humans are frail creatures. They wound easily. Apologize. What? Apologize to me. I said apologize. Uh, I'm sorry. Again. Put your heart into it. Convince me you mean it. I'm sorry. Again. Once more. Get down on your knees and shout it from your gut. I am so very sorry. Was that a laugh? Jeez. You're such a strange man. Strange? You told me to do it. Nothing's going like I thought it would. That would kind of make sense-ish, I think. What if Abby was Antonin's previous mistress and Michael was banished for being her son? It's a possibility. Nothing's going like I thought it would. I figured even if we talked, he would just deny everything I said. I didn't think you'd actually listen to me. But you did. You listened, and you looked quite distressed by what you heard. I looked distressed? Oh, yes, you sure did. I wish I'd had a mirror to show you. I'm sure you didn't want to believe what I said, but you didn't once accuse me of lying. You faced up to the truth, and you apologized. I seem to have had the wrong impression of you as well. I didn't try to see you for who you were, instead letting myself believe that you were someone to be afraid of. To be honest, I didn't like you very much. The feeling was mutual. But for some reason, I don't feel that way now. Is it guilt? I need to apologize to you, too. Apologize? For what? I let the villagers hear. I almost sold my soul to the devil. I tried to sell you out to save myself. And for that, I'm truly sorry. I don't understand. What? Do I need to get down on my knees too? No, that's not what I meant. The blame falls on the village for falsely accusing you of stealing. You were a convenient scapegoat for the real thieves. They planned to take advantage of you from the start. That Amade was probably in on it as well, to get back at you for rejecting his proposal. Plus, giving the village a single target to let out their frustrations on would, in a way, help unify them. He used you to meet that end. In order to escape from their trap, you told them about me. But this was after I had threatened you, causing you to flee from this place. You have nothing to apologize for. Still, I still feel really bad about it. So, I'm sorry anyway. You're unexpectedly stubborn. But now that we've both apologized to each other, we can call everything square. Square? Square. We were both in the wrong. So we apologized, and we forgave each other. She gave a little smile, but all I could do was stare at her, brow furrowed in perplexity, like I was looking at some bizarre Fantasyland creature. The weight of our crimes was not equal. What I had done to her was so very much worse. Furthermore, I am Antonin's son. His blood flows through me. Can you honestly say you don't find me revolting? That you're willing to forgive me for that? I didn't think I would be able to. If I were her, my grudge would extend to all of my family, everyone I had ever come in contact with. I can. Although, you don't need forgiveness for being his son. Being related to someone doesn't make you responsible for their sins. It wouldn't be fair to blame you for that. You're curious. What? Curious? About what? No, not that curious. You're a strange creature. I'm human, you know? Yes, I know you're human. You're making me lightheaded. Is it a medical emergency? That's quite the leap in logic.
I was at my lowest just a little bit ago, and now I'm laughing again. It's odd. I never expected I would recover at all.
I was just as surprised as her. She'd been through hell, and she had more than enough reason to despise me, to shower me with vitriol. But instead, she was smiling. There we go. And then we lived happily ever after, and nothing bad ever happened with any version of us in any time period within this house. Yeah, see, I'm loving this. Like, this is perfect, but you know it's going to all go downhill because we know present day us is not doing so great. So, and even more unexpected was the fact that I felt relieved to see it. Like, how much worse can we do to each other?
I truly, really wished I had gotten to know him sooner.
Yes, I had fled from the mansion in fear of him, but maybe if I'd had just a little more courage,
Enough to tell him the truth, maybe he would have listened. I had let my initial impression of him solidify too quickly. I had convinced myself he was insensitive and perpetually expressionless, save for the Arctic stare. But the man standing before me did experience sadness, pain, distress. Or at the very least, he appeared to from where I was standing. Michael was just like me, an ordinary person. That said, there was still plenty I didn't know. I was still lacking explanations for much of his behavior. Um, would you mind telling me about yourself now? I'd like to get to know you better. What are you doing here in this mansion, all alone? Why do you call yourself cursed? I told you everything. It's only fair you do the same. I have no interest in using your information for anything. I have no reason to. Or are you going to keep pushing the master and servant line? Do you still think I have no need to know?
be quiet. For the love of God, stop talking already. You always pick the worst time.
What?
Uh, uh,
Excuse me? What do you mean I always pick the worst time?
no, I wasn't.
Unbelievable. Just when I was starting to think you might actually be a human being. Then you go and spout this.
No, Giselle. I wasn't talking to you.
Who else could it have been?
I was, talking to. You know. I have, I have a condition that forces me to vocalize objections to my own thoughts.
You know, that's about as convincing as my allergic to people excuse.
Sorry.
Weirdo. What crosses did he bear? What secrets did he keep? Maybe the truth was far beyond my reckoning. And if it was, even if he did, please, tell me everything. No matter what you say, I won't doubt your words. I will trust you, and I'm sure I can accept anything you say. Please. If you don't put it into words, I have nothing to work with.
Okay. Where should I start, though?
Um, how about the curse then? Are you actually cursed?
That's a difficult question. I cannot, for example, take someone's life with my curse, nor can I bring about disaster. So, he's albino and autistic. I don't have any magical powers like that.
So what you said outside was a bluff then?
It was just a way to chase the villagers away.
Well, you certainly put on a convincing performance. So you can't actually curse anyone, huh?
Regardless, I am human. Nothing more, nothing less.
At least I consider myself one. Others would disagree. And the reason for that has to do with my body.
Your skin, hair, and eye color, right?
Right.
Seeing Michael under the sun, he certainly wasn't what most people would consider normal. Awe-inspiring, in fact.
Giving birth to me, it broke my mother. No, I drove her mad. Not only do I appear inhuman, I'm oversensitive to sunlight. While a little light through the window isn't much of a problem, I can't be outside, directly under the sun, for more than a couple hours. When she realized I couldn't go out into the sun, my mother started thinking I was possessed by a demon. So she banished me to this mansion until my curse was broken. That was 10 years ago.
Just because you look different from them?
Yeah,
Awe-inspiring and kind of sexy.
you know what? He was kind of sexy, I'll say it. The family's reputation was at stake, too. If other noble houses realized they were giving refuge to an unholy creature, it would destroy the Bollingers. You saw how the villagers reacted. They called me a demon when they saw me.
I suspect the rumors about the mansion played a part in that. If nobody thought the house was cursed, they wouldn't have.
I'm sure you were afraid as well. You saw me and thought I was not of this world, that I looked like a demon.
I thought you looked like an angel.
A what?
I at least thought you looked more like an angel than a demon. It never once crossed my mind that you might be evil. But I understand your situation now. Because of your appearance, you've lived all alone in this dark mansion. For 10 years.
It was never really an inconvenience. They bring me all the supplies I need.
You big liar. Have you never considered running away?
That's not an option.
Because of the sun?
No, I could move during the night if I really wanted to. I'm being watched to ensure I don't leave.
Watched?
They can't allow anyone to find out that I'm alive, particularly at the Bollinger estate. If I were to run and they were to find out, I would probably be killed. If only I didn't stand out so much, I might be able to stay out of sight easier. But also, I had been holding on to a little hope, I think. Hope that I might be able to return someday. I have all but given up that hope now, though. Not that I ever had enough willpower to really fight for it.
I see.
You don't need to worry about pitying me either. It's long since become normal to me.
That's not something that should ever become normal. So what was that really a moment ago? You don't actually have a condition that makes you argue with yourself, do you? Please tell me.
You don't have to believe me. In fact, I doubt you will. You're free to think I'm completely mad.
Don't worry. I want to know.
I can hear the witch's voice.
The witch's voice?
It started when I first arrived at the mansion. No one else can hear it either. Like I said, it sounds crazy.
Not at all. I said I would trust you, so I believe you. Maybe he's not well. Yeah, that has to be it. 10 years all alone in one place, and you're bound to start hearing things. He seems like a delicate person, too. Thinking about it like that, I'm starting to feel really sorry for him.
Do I want to know what you're thinking?
I'm here for you.
Huh?
I've made up my mind. I'm going to stay here with you.
Wait, what?
Don't worry. I'll shout so loud you won't be able to hear that silly witch's voice anymore. W- Will you now? If you hear it again, let me know, understood? You don't have to be afraid. I never said I was. Whenever you hear it, I'll be there with you, holding your hand. Well, okay, we kind of took the extremely long route, but there you have it. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Master. Master. Now, where should we begin? I know, supper. Are you hungry? What should I make? T- t- Slow down, please. What is it? If there's something you'd like, I'm happy to accommodate. You actually intend to stay here again after what happened last time? Because of what happened. Because of that, we're finally able to see past each other's surface. I want us to try again, from the beginning. And this time, actually try to be considerate of one another's feelings. That's a promise, Master. Uh, all right. I I can stay here, right? I don't mind. I'm glad to hear it. Say, Yes, Master? if you ever want something from me, could I please ask you to put it into words? I don't have much faith in my ability to pick up on things. Huh? Got it. Then here's something to start with. What do you say we open some of these windows? Open the windows? Yeah, we don't have to if you think it'll cause you problems, but it would be nice to get a little light in here. I'd like to put an end to this house being a dark, closed off cave. I wasn't the one who barred the windows. You weren't? They were like that when I arrived. Made it seem like a very appropriate place to lock me away. Well, I am sensitive to light, yes, as I mentioned. A little sun through the window shouldn't cause any problems. All right then. Can I ask you to help me open them? Let's both lighten this place up. After a few moments of silence, Michael gave me a curt nod. While we couldn't do anything about the windows that had been boarded up, the two of us forced open the ones that were just covered by rusted over shutters. When we got the first one open, a beautiful stream of light, like nothing I had ever seen before, flooded into the dark mansion's halls. I'd assumed that spring would never come. All we had to do was talk to each other, listen to each other, and everything else would fall into place. But it was that first step that was so hard, so much harder than either of us had expected. And now that the ice was melting, we had to treasure that. It might not have seemed like much to someone else, but to us, it was a huge accomplishment. This time, it'll all work out. It has to. I had all the confidence in the world when we were together. But now that I'm alone in the dark, in the absolute silence of the night, I'm starting to get anxious again. Starting to feel like something bad is going to happen. Like I'm going to mess something up again. We took a big step today, and I know I have to keep it together to keep thinking positive. The goods you're after, Giselle, are not cheap. Understand? Yeah, a beautiful stream of light filled the mansion and instantly disintegrated Michael like a vampire. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the woman hath committed three sins. She has lied, she has stolen, and she has betrayed her fellow man. It's all right. It's okay. There's nothing to be afraid of, Giselle. Whatever happens, you have to hold fast to your faith in the goodness of others. You have no reason to tremble. Hmm? Yes? Come in. That's odd. I don't think I was hearing things. There's no one there. What was that about? Oh, a glass. It's wine, and it's so warm. I guess he heated it on the fire for me? Oh, you could have at least said hi. I have a feeling this is going to work out. That's cute. Look at all these adorable things that they're putting together and then are going to break my heart. I'm gonna hate how this ends, and I know it. The light shining in through the windows is swallowed whole by the darkness, as if to say our time together never really existed. We saw it, though. Together, we watched the light crack open the darkness. I'm begging you, please remember. Please find yourself. Please, Giselle, don't let the things you felt, the warmth that fell over us, remain lost to you. I might have seen it. Mm, seen that most beautiful light. Giselle, but are these truly my memories? Could they not be someone else's tale, like all the others we have seen so far? She was so bright and energetic, and I am neither of those. Besides, the maid needs not a tale of her own. This is not a story. These are memories. Mine and your memories. No one else's. It was all very much real, as were the kinder, happier days that came next. Kinder, happier days. Those words create a strange warmness within my chest, but at the same time, they make me indescribably anxious. Is there really happiness to be found down that road? Even if our past doesn't lead to happiness, it couldn't be worse than where we are now. Come, Giselle, to the spring that made us more than just strangers. All right, we are going to end here for tonight because I have a feeling we're about to get into another massive chunk. Um, Also, it's going to be a kind of nice change to start in a happier time because we've hit some really sad times and started off in some really horrible places. So, you know what? Let's make it better for ourselves, right? So, next stream Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. I'm trying to think about whether I've got any announcements, but I can't think of any. Happy birthday, chat. And I really do think that's all I've got. So thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed. Have a happy Easter if you celebrate, and I will be back on Easter. Exactly, truly a good rebirth to celebrate Easter. That's what I just intended this, clearly. I planned it out. Um, we'll go with that. Excellent. Thanks so much for hanging out and be back on Tuesday. Have a good night all. Bye.